Go to 4B, Eileen Loken, Rushford's Loken Inn, discussion on lodging tax, see attached history. And welcome.
Hi. Just want to have a discussion. I received a letter in the mail on August 7th from Kathy Sacker that said just a reminder of your lodging tax obligation for your Rushford business. And I guess my initial response is in several years of working with the city, no one has ever brought up lodging tax in all these years. So that was the first bit of information. So I called Terry Chigolo to ask about the lodging tax, and he wasn't aware either that there was a lodging tax. So then I contacted Kathy the next day just for a little information, and so she sent me a little bit about the history and the ordinance, and that it's 3%. And then she gave me a printout of a little bit in the history of what the money has been spent on, and that type of thing. So I wanted to, open up the discussion to say it has not been collected because I wasn't aware of it at the beginning. It would have been nice to know about it just as we're trying to look at the budget and trying to figure out what our room rates are. That would have been a sort of a vital piece to know because when you're looking at real numbers, our rooms on Sunday through Thursday are $79.95 with the Minnesota tax, that's $5.50. So per room for that one, the lodging tax at 3% would be $2.40. On the weekend it goes up to $2.70. You might not think that's much, but a little bit of working in the hospitality business when it's a couple things. People's perception is when you go to a small town, it could be a new facility, small town equates to $50 room. It doesn't matter if it's nice or not, it's their perception. It's a small town, it should be cheaper. So, we have already in our business have discovered that, what do you mean $80 for, So, $2.40, $2.70, yeah, it could make a difference. I understand it I understand the lodging tax. So I think there's different pieces I want to talk about it in it's open discussion. One piece is knowing about it and to budget for it, to try to get your rooms. The other piece is what it's used for. And Kathy and I talked about is tourism. I guess what it looks like in the past, what it's used for, I'd like to have a discussion of, is that appropriate or not? I was trying to think, does it go in a general fund? Is it a separate fund? Who is delegating the funds of what it's used for? I just wanted to have a discussion on that. I personally, John and I's feelings, it's hard to start a new business when you're trying to figure out the utilities and it's new with the water and electric and septic, and then you got construction going on, and then you're hitting people with another few bucks. It's a small town. The concept of taxing people to come here sometimes is a little hard. We're not up in the Metro or Rochester with Destination Medical Center. You have a lot of competition, and they're using it for certain things. It's hard though when you're in a small town to collect 3%. I understand lodging tax. I think it's good. I don't know 3%. I don't know if that. I'd like to have a discussion on that, I guess. And then what is it used for? Looking like, I don't know. Are you familiar? It looks like you have the sheets out. Just in the past of what it's used for. From I know the depot, electricity, and that type of stuff. From the flower baskets, looks like there's some printed advertising and some of the things. So I guess information, I don't think there's been a motel in town, so I think it's a good time. This was written in the mid-90s. I guess my question...
We got the windswept in. We got the windswept in.
Okay. Have they been paying it on the bottom? It looks like some people are paying, some aren't.
There's 3 places that are paying.
Right.
Windswept Inn and Bestmore Inn and Meadows Inn.
Okay. What about the campgrounds?
No, those are owned by the city, and we don't have to charge those.
Okay.
The lodging taxes. I think it's in the ordinance even that you don't charge it on city-run operation.
Okay. So I guess your thoughts, opinions?
The campground Kathy West, or, Stumpy's and Hamel, that partnership,
Well, those aren't,
that
those
isn't
are,
city owned. So.
no, but they're a little bit longer. It's not like recreational camping, I guess. It's a little bit different. Some people have lived there like year-round, so it's not quite the same thing. It's not as transient sometimes,
Yeah.
because they're there for
Right.
a longer period of time most of the time.
Yeah, it is slightly different, that's for sure.
Yeah, they bought that property, they intended it to be a mobile park,
Yeah.
and
I
they
guess-
switched over to have the campers in there just to get themselves some more income, so.
I guess in starting off a new business, 3% is high, you know, and starting it off at this time of year and getting it in with the construction and just starting without knowing that there's a lodging tax. We have not collected it up until this point. And I guess if we are to collect it, you know, I have ideas, and maybe the people like from Westmore and the Windswept would have ideas of where they think, you know, for me, if you're paying lodging tax, things that are gonna help with lodging, like maybe signage up on I-90 to bring you in or on the highways, you know, what would be, again, it's a lodging tax to help lodging, to bring it into lodging. Be it advertisement, is paying for utilities at the depot helping me get more rooms at the motel? You know, I don't know. So, just my thought process on, I would like involvement and think of ways to be spending, because if you look at, I mean, it's gonna add up if you figure out how many rooms you have. And I want it to be managed, I want it to be accountable, I want it to be transparent, you know, what it is, and to get to moving in the right direction.
At one time, probably 15 years ago, we did have a sign up down Interstate 90. But it blew down and never put back up. And I owned the Westmore at one time. I was the one who remodeled it. And I thought that was a good idea. That did bring people in.
Yeah. You know, so funds could go, you know, there's a whole bunch of a list, I think, that could help, but again, it needs to, the money's gonna be appropriated, to, something that's going to help with the lodging part of it.
On the chart, you can see that, like this 1 year alone, we spent $4,300, but we only took in $1,443. So the city's been paying these expenses that are related to tourist type things. We've been spending more than we've been taking in.
Yeah,
You know?
and I see that at every, it seems like that gets
So
going.
there's never, and some of these things have a commitment from past years to, like for the depot, it's because that's the tourist center, that's the place that we want open for people using the bike trail to come through. And the historic Bluff Country dues is the biggest thing, $1,500. So some of those expenses and some of those advertising and print and promotional things have been kind of coordinated effort with the chamber, because they don't have a lot of money. So it's an effort between the city and the chamber to work together on some of these expenses. So nobody's really had to think too hard about what to spend it on, because there has never been enough money, you know, there's never, we've always spent more than what we took in the way it was, so you wouldn't want to think about new ideas for spending until you have some new revenue.
Well, if this is gonna be enacted, you'll have new revenue, so then we'll need to, I think, appropriate it,
And it was initially
yeah.
started as a way to not have to fund tourism marketing from the general fund back in middle 90s. And it was primarily to raise enough money to pay our Bluff Country dues.